Three, two. I think we're live, baby. What's happening, Mike? Good to have you back, bro. I guess this beat has been missing, but good to be here again.
That's right. That's right. I was so looking forward to seeing that energy pop up as soon as we hit that record button, man. I love it.
Yeah, I love that too, man. It's so funny, right? Like we always say, like him and I, we catch up for a good 5-10 minutes. Like you guys don't get this. Mike and I, we are actually good friends. Like we enjoy having these conversations, and I think it carries through with the way that we present it on camera. But this is the recorded part, right? Like we talk about everything else. We talk about our teams. We talk about the production, how it's going, the ups, the lows, the vacations, all that other stuff that the friends talk about. So that's why it makes this project and this thing that we're doing for everybody else to have an insight into our lives that much more enjoyable, because honestly, we don't dislike each other.
That's right. I think that's what kind of birthed this idea is we're having these like insightful and informative conversations about not just insurance, but about life in general. Like we should just record this. Like I think people would get value out of this. And so we're just doing what we normally do. There's just a camera in front of us now.
Yeah, but we've been off a little bit though, right? We had spring break. The kids, you came to Florida. What part of Florida were you? Naples, was it?
Naples, yeah. And you were gone. You went out on a cruise, left me.
I know. He comes to Florida, I'm out.
That's right. It's funny how that happens every single time I come to Florida. You're like, oh, sorry, I'm not here. Not as close as I thought we were.
I promise you this, in August I'll be there. That's the national
I ain't
conference
coming to
for the
Florida in
company.
August.
There you are.
No. Oh, yeah, for the conference. That's right. I was like, I got no desire to be in that heat.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot, but we're gonna be in Orlando, Florida, the week of August 10th. I think it's the 8th to the 8th to the 10th, or the 11th, one of those two. Right, and that's the national convention. It's in Orlando, Florida. So if anybody does want to come, it's open. Like you're more than welcome to, even if you're not an agent yet, just to kind of see what we do and how we do it, and meet up with Mike and myself, and be able to have a conversation. So if any of you guys do want some more information on that, we'll be more than happy. We're more than happy to share it with y'all.
I would also imagine that you would have the opportunity to see one, if not both of us, speaking on stage at that event at some point.
Well, that might happen. We gotta make this happen. No, They gotta have an MP Bros segment.
Like MP Bros live at the national convention.
Put us on the table, give us a microphone, and let us roll, baby. Let us roll. This is what we do. But you know what? With coming back and being off for a couple of weeks, this is like that time when it's just like you're getting back on that bicycle and it might be a little wobbly and you got to, relearn how to ride a bicycle. But the good thing about relearning is that you never forget, right? But it's falling off that horse and getting back on, and how to overcome that constant falling off and getting back on, that fear. So let's touch a little bit on that, Mike. Do you think I labeled it well of how...
Yeah. I think that's spot on. I mean, really, it's hard coming back after a vacation. You know what I mean? And like jumping back into reality, and especially into an industry like this that's so fast paced and so energetically draining, if you will, right? Because we're giving so much to our clients on these calls. We have to be so cognizant of everything, whether it's mirroring, pitch, pace, tonality, articulating value, making sure we're providing the right plans and staying present all at the same time. Like it can be very draining. And, I don't know how you feel, Luis, but for me, when I come back of a vacation, like I love this industry, love this industry. But when I come back from a vacation, I always feel like I need one extra day before I can just jump right back on the phones here. I mean, do you experience that?
Oh, dude, 100%. So like, I won't take too long for this, but I'm just going to go over what my vacation was just like, right? I literally jumped on a 7-day cruise, 0 complaints. It was absolutely amazing. If you've never been to the British Virgin Islands, Tortola maybe I left a little piece of my heart there. It was that nice, right? But then the next day when you're back, like you're still like feeling the rockiness of the boat, you're getting your life back in order. And I had a bunch of things I had to do for work. So I jumped on and I had 3 days. Right? During those 3 days, like, I don't know what happened, but I got this crazy flu, fever, coughing, feeling like crap, and this pain on my leg that I went to an orthopedic surgeon to like see what's going on, and they're like, oh, everything is fine. It ended up going away. And the moment it starts going away, I need to jump in a car, drive 12 and a half hours to Mississippi from Florida for a family wedding. So then I was there for another 4 or 5 days, and then we had to come back on Monday, Tuesday of the following week. So literally, it was a 7 day cruise that turned into 2.5 week vacation. So it takes a lot out of the individual to give all that energy and then come back, maybe unwind for a day, and then get right back on it, right? Because just like you explained it, it is exhausting, like what we do. By the end of the day, Mike, you run 20 appointments, right? You're probably like, whew, all right,
I know.
done, beautiful day, And I'm sure if you had a beautiful, successful day, you're like, hell yeah, that was great. Let's go do something else. Or you may have had a day that could have been like, man, that took so much out of me. Let me just go hug my kids and grab a beer and chill back,
Yeah.
like.
It is. It's a delicate balance because, like yesterday, we were talking. For example, yesterday was a uniquely good day. It was just one of those days where I got lucky enough that the people that I spoke to saw the value and needed the coverage. So it was a great day. And at the end of that day, I felt very energized. Right. Again, this is yesterday. I felt like I finished my appointments. I'm like, damn, that was a great day. Sold a ton of business, and I was like really excited about it. Helped all these families, and that carried me for another about 20 minutes. And then after the next 20 minutes, I crashed. So I was so tired. But that's how I feel at the end of almost every day. Like regardless of how many families are protected, at the end of the day, I'm drained because again, like we're talking about, we're giving a lot to these. Even if they're not buying policies, we're still giving a lot. We're still kind of sharing that energy and using our brain, and it's exhausting. So I'm tired. It doesn't matter what the day is or how successful it was. My wife makes fun of me every night for how fast I fall asleep. It's like mid-sentence.
And it's crazy. Like, I'm happy that you brought up your wife, because we have our wife, we have our kids, and they deserve our attention. They deserve our energy too, right? And sometimes I feel bad because I'm drained that I'm kind of having what's left over for them, right? That's why I personally try to keep the weekends aside so I can. And then I still coach during the week. I still coach on Wednesday and Fridays, and then every other day is filled. So like, it's energy that's taken and it's being transferred out. But no wonder we're tired, because it's a lot.
But that's a great kind of thing for any new agents on here. Anyone who's new to the industry, this is really, really important. If you have a spouse or someone you live with or someone who you're talking to on a day-to-day basis, I would highly recommend that you have a conversation with them before you start, of like really ironing out what this schedule is going to look like for you and making sure that they're on the same page. Because I'll speak for Luis as well when I say this. Neither of us could do what we do without having the support and buy-in from our wives. It wouldn't be feasible. It requires so much that we need them to be on the same page about what this takes, what it's going to do for our lives and our families' lives, financially, emotionally, like all this kind of stuff that comes with it, making sure that you guys are communicating on the same page. And then obviously from our end, making sure we're staying true to that. If I tell Megan my last appointment is going to be at 6 o'clock every day, and I start scheduling appointments at 6:30, 7:30 at night, I'm not holding up my end of the bargain. It's not fair to ask her to do that either. So making sure that you're communicating so that we understand, so that all parties involved are understanding like what this is going to look like, and everyone being okay with it is really what it comes down to. Because then at the end of the day, when I'm tired, it's okay, because I've set aside time to make sure that I'm still spending time with my family and I'm present with them. But I agree with you. It is hard because I don't want them to feel like they're getting the scraps of what's left over from my energy. So like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, right. And I think you laid it out pretty well about having the expectations, having it clear cut with your spouse. Like, hey, what I do, and it's hard to understand when you're not doing it, right? Because it truly is mentally exhausting. It might not be physically exerting because we're sitting down or we're standing up or we're on the phone. But although you're not moving, you're not laying bricks, you're not mowing lawns, it's a different type of exhaustion. It's not our body that's feeling it. If anything, my body says, stop sitting down so damn long.
Right.
You're not meant to be sitting down and looking at a screen this whole time. And that's why you want to be able to have that movement in your, like, I know that you're big into your jiu-jitsu, right, and your exercise, and like, we got to get it in, because if not, we're going to be on the phone at a desk for 8 to 10 to 12 hours on a daily basis.
And that's like my little version of that is like there's a certain point in my call when I'm getting into what it does and doesn't cover and covering the plans where I get up and I just kind of pace in my office. And I realize now it's not even really a conscious thing that I'm doing. I just kind of get up and do it because I know I don't have to be in front of the computer at that time. And outside of like, you know, the other things that I'm doing for exercise, that's it. That's all I get once the workday starts. It's like a little bit of pacing back and forth and like a 10-foot space here back and forth. And that's it. Because again, like you're saying, the body's kind of screaming for some movement to help keep the energy up so that the clients are also not getting the worst of us as well.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple people in the company, and this girl we just brought on too does it too. And I think I'm going to buy one because I have this stand-up desk. But now I'm just standing, I'm still just right there. I'm not really going anywhere. I'm just standing. That's the only difference. But they have these little treadmills that go underneath, and you can kind of just slowly walk as you're doing this. So I'm going to try it.
She has it. She uses it. She has a standing desk and a walking pad. And the walking pad, I think, caps out at like 3 miles an hour or something.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. I can't do it because I sound like a fat guy. I'm all winded when I'm talking on the phone. I can't do it. It's no good for me. But yeah, a lot of people swear by it. And it is a great way to make sure that you're keeping the blood flowing throughout the course of the day.
Have you tried it?
I have tried it. Yeah, I tried setting appointments while I was standing on it. I'm like, I can't do this. I sound ridiculous. Like, yeah. Hey, Luis, it's Michael getting back to you regarding the mortgage protection. They're like, are you okay?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I want to try it because it might be a great thing, but then again, I might be doing this, looking at that screen. I have way too many screens up. I might just end up twisting an ankle, falling, calling 911, and what happened? I was running an appointment.
That's right. No, you have to make up a lie about doing something cool. It can't be that simple. But let's talk about this, right? So one of the first topic I know that we really wanted to hit on is getting back into the flow of it after a long break. We both just had breaks, right? We were both on vacation with the kids for spring break for a week. You got back and got sick. I got back, worked 2 days, and then I got sick. And it's like, so what do you do? What tips, tricks, techniques, what do you have to kind of get yourself back in flow coming off of vacation? Like, how do you handle it?
It's honestly one of those things that is going to come, just do it, right? This is where discipline comes in. This is where, and I'm telling you, Nike, I should probably pay them royalties for how much I use their slogan. It's true. It's just do it. Like at the end of the day, nothing is going to fix whatever is going on more than activity, right? Massive action, constant correction. Massive action, constant correction. Massive action, constant correction. If any of those two are missing, then it's going to be a disaster, right? And look at what a simple recipe is. There's two things: massive action, constant correction. Dude, don't mess that up. Like literally, right? You can't make it without having both things. So get your leads, get your appointments ready, get ready to dial, and get ready to put the massive action. And then if you need to record yourself, if you need to have somebody be there with you, if you need to examine the script a little bit better, like I've been doing it for years, I still have it in front of me, like it's just, you're gonna need to reset, restructure, and let it all come back to you. And little bit at a time, you're gonna start inching away, and you're gonna be like, okay, maybe this week I only sold 5K. Okay, this week I sold 8K. Next week, all right, I'm back at my 12. I'm back at my 15K a week. My 20K a week. But it's just about taking that constant action. Don't allow that inactivity to take over you, right? Because this is like that time when you don't want to go to the gym, right? And you're like, fuck, I really have to get up and go drive out there and sweat, and actually, I really don't want to go. If you allow too many of those days to string together, give it up. It's going to be so much harder to get back into that. So it's going to be the same thing. Like, I want to get back on the phones. I want to dial, make that such a regimen that you're just going to go out there and do it.
Yeah. I know for me, like when I'm coming off a vacation again, like I really feel like I have to have that extra day to like settle back in, right? Unpack the bags, go to the grocery store, like do whatever random normal house stuff hasn't gotten done over the course of the week of being out for vacation.
Yeah.
But then you got to do it. If you need to give yourself a day to reset, like that's fine, but don't let it drag on any more than that, man. And if you need the extra motivation, go look at your bank account. I know that's something that for me, when I'm a week out and I'm used to seeing thousands of dollars coming into my bank account every single day, and then you do a week of inactivity and you see that those thousands of dollars are not coming in anymore, I'm like, damn, I got to get back on the phone. Like it really is that simple.
Yeah, the bills don't stop coming.
No, no, they don't. If you figure out the trick to that, let me know, because they do not stop coming.
Your bill's not going to show up and say, "How was your vacation?" Right?
Right. I mean, look, the vacation was amazing. You know, the beauty of where we're at now, because our kids are the same age, is that this is now getting to a point where vacation feels like vacation, and it's not just like parenting in a different spot. You know, so this was the first vacation I've had that really felt like that it was a vacation, and I could just hang out with the kids and enjoy it. They didn't need as much from me. It was just fun. It was just a good time. And so getting back, that makes it even harder, right? Is like, we just had this great time. I want to spend more time with them, and I want to just kind of keep in this vacation mode. And it just, you like you said, man, you got to just do it. It's not going to get, the more time you take off, it doesn't get any easier to get back in the flow. So if you need to give yourself a day to reset, give yourself a day to reset, but that's it. There's no reason to drag it out any more than that. You're just hurting yourself. And there's families, guys, out here that need us. They need this insurance in their lives. They need us to call them, explain this to them, and help them get a plan in place so that when the shit hits the fan in their world, they are protected financially. This is a very, very needed thing. And the more time you take off and the less phone calls you make, there are families out there that you should have been calling that didn't, that now someone in their family passes away and their entire family is going to debt just to pay for a funeral. That is because of us.
I don't set enough perspective into that. I've been doing this for so long, but it's the sole reason why we do it, right? This impacts families. I've spoken to one too many death claims that have received the money, and they say, thank you. I'm so glad that we did it. I'm so glad that this is in place. And it's such a great perspective. But let's go back into the getting back into things. And we're talking about our kids. Did your kids say this too? Because this is what mine said. I don't want to go back to school, right? And that's us. I don't want to go back to work. I was just basking in the sun, enjoying the beach, and kicking it out there and not having to worry in my life. Like, that was perfect. So now it's time to get back to that seriousness. But use that memory, use that fuel as your next goal, right? Hey, I just had this vacation. Let's book the next one. What am I going to do in 3 months from now? And give yourself a constant 90-day challenge. That's a great thing. We should do an MP Bros 90 days challenge, man.
I like that a lot. But more than just the concept, whether it's 90 days or 180 days, like, you can set your own obscure timeline as to how often you feel like you want to be doing that, but plan the next thing, right? That to me is a huge motivator. That's such a great point, Luis, where, like, if you come back and you're feeling like you want to still be on vacation, plan the next one. And by the way, there's your motivation to get going too, because that trip ain't going to be free. You know what I mean? So get back on the phone. Let's help some families. Let's help our own.
Yeah, and it's such a high and a low. Not so much of a low. It could just be a high and a high, because now you're taking it and you have a goal set in mind. And don't forget, and who am I kidding? These carriers very often have those trips ready for us. Hey, let me go ahead and reward you here. Mike's been writing so much of one company just because they have a trip for Hawaii coming up. This guy is going to go to Hawaii. He's going to take his wife to Hawaii, and it's going to be free for them.
It's so funny about that too, because I was talking to Clint. Shout out to Clint Olson. I was just talking to him about this last week, and he's like, "Why don't I'm all focused on writing this carrier so I can win the trip to Hawaii." And he's like, "If you write another carrier that might have a higher comp, you're going to be able to pay for that trip to Hawaii either way." And I'm like, yeah, but money won is so much better than money earned. You know what I mean? I would so much rather have them pay for my trip to Hawaii. Whether or not I can afford it is irrelevant. I want to feel like I won a trip to Hawaii, and there's something about it that just feels more rewarding.
How cool is that? Like, that's such a great mindset behind it, Like, he's literally saying, hey, this is going to pay me a little bit less in compensation, and I can write some of the other ones, but I want that trip to Hawaii. I want to make sure that they're tapping me in the shoulder saying, great job, let me go ahead and treat you and fly you out and all that good stuff that comes along with it. So that's awesome. I know you're going to get it.
Yeah, and it's one of the best perks of the industry is, like, every carrier has something cool, whether it's like a trip or just like a fat bonus check based off a percentage of how much you sold during a certain time frame. It's like, that's one of the fun things about this business is these incredible incentive that are offered through different carriers. And it's like, I want to play that game. That to me is fun for me, right? Is can I get the, a trip from this carrier? Can I get the 10% bonus from this carrier? Can I win a trip from this carrier and this carrier? Like, you know what I mean? These are things that I think are cool because now we have the opportunity to celebrate our successes in a real way. Like, I know that you and I, we both have trouble like really understanding and implementing what it means to like celebrate a win. We're the best at beating ourselves up when we have a bad day, but when it comes to celebrating a win, that's a different story. Whereas,
Yeah, no big deal.
yeah, it's whatever. Like, who cares? So what? You made, $8,000 yesterday. No big deal. But the fact of the matter is, what it comes down to is that now when I'm on a trip going to Scotland or Hawaii or to the, Tenerife Islands or wherever it is that these trips are going, and I'm on that airplane with Megan on a free trip, that's pretty cool. That's celebrating a win right there. That's celebrating being sitting next to your spouse and being like, we're doing this for free.
Huge. I
Nothing
had to
better.
look at where the hell are the Tenerife Islands? The
It's
Canary.
I believe it's an island off Spain, I want to say.
Oh yeah, it's off Africa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, how beautiful. Yeah, it's off of Western Sahara, right by Morocco.
That was the trip
Wow,
last year that was offered from one of the carriers.
that's amazing.
I
That's
know
so far.
there's a lot of people on the Hughes Fateau team that will be in that on that trip.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Cool. Let's go. I'm gonna start writing me some UHL, baby.
Right. So that was for last year, though, for the record.
Okay. Never mind.
But it all comes down to the same thing of what we're talking about. Of like, if you guys need any extra motivation to get going and like look at the things that happen, the financial gain on your pocket, the protecting all these other families that genuinely need this protection, the opportunity for cash incentives, for trips. If you need more than that to help you get back on the phone after a vacation, this probably isn't the industry for you.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
It's a tough industry, but it's the most rewarding industry ever, right? The more self-discipline, the more that you can go ahead and bet on yourself, the more that it's going to be able to reward you.
Yeah.
Be mind strong, be constantly positive, and just continue to do and correct, right? And I know Mike would be like, half the time you're like, I can't believe I didn't sell anything for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, I know how this works. I've been doing it for 6-7 years. I know it's going to have its highs and its lows, right? And at the end of the day, as long as you put the activity in, as long as you go to work, you're never going to have you may have a bad day, you may have a bad week, but as long as you keep putting the activity in, you're not going to have a bad month. And that's what it's going to come down to, maybe off to a slow start, but just keep grinding it out. The universe pays it back, especially the more positive, the more confident about it that you are. So make it happen, go to it. And then to add on to your 1 day of reset, use that day to do all that stuff and maybe just put yourself 1 hour in front of the computer, not so much to make calls, but just to get yourself ready. Look through any pending business that maybe is still panning out, maybe a chargeback came in, call that one customer, make sure your leads are turned back on and ready to roll and ready to rock. So just be prepared, so the very next day you don't have to worry about which leads you're going to be dialing or what exactly you're going to be doing. You're going to be able to just go.
And that's going to make the first day back, like your first real day back, even better. The smoother it is, the better. Be prepared, be ready to go. Have your, like you said, have your leads ready to go. Have your admin, like whatever random admin stuff needs to get done from your time off, do that, right? And then the next day when you are ready to hit it, like you can just clear path, like just do what you do, make your dials, set your appointments, run your appointments, sell your policies, protect the families. It can really be that simple.
That's all. Oh, sorry, I'm back.
All right.
So true, man. It's so true. So we're gonna talk about those two things, right? And getting going. Let's touch a little bit on paralysis by analysis, right? And you know why I'm bringing this up.
Yep.
Like, we have some individuals that are out there that are so talented. You can have the best conversations with these people, right? And they're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be great at this. I have everything it takes to do this. Why aren't you doing it yet? Well, I still got to learn this, or I got to do that, or I have this things in the back of my head that are just telling me you're not ready yet, right? And that keeps you from moving. I was talking about Nike earlier, how they got to pay me, or I got to pay them. I'm a big believer. Just do it, literally. Because by just doing it, two things are going to happen. You're going to learn and you're going to fail. And if you fail, you're going to learn. So no matter what, as long as you're putting action into it and putting the correction into it. You're going to be able to learn from the steps you're taking, but you're definitely not going to learn from inactivity, right? And so that paralysis, that fear, that anxiety that people have inside of them, the only way to defeat it is to face your own fears and just do it. What do you have to say to that, Mike?
It's interesting because you're spot on. It's such a catch-22 where you have these people that want to know everything before they do anything. And so they do all this research. And the problem is that you're never really going to learn everything. You know what I mean? It's an ever evolving industry with changes that are constantly coming in from products and carriers. Like it's a never ending evolution. So it's almost, to me, it's kind of comical to think that like I want to learn everything before I do anything, when in actuality, the only way to really learn everything is to do something. You know what I mean? Once you start making calls, once you start talking to clients, once you start making mistakes, screwing up the script, messing up toolkit, like once you start doing that stuff, that's how you're going to learn.
Yeah.
That's the only, at least for me, that's the only way to learn. I don't want to sit there and read a bunch of product pamphlets. I'm not going to retain any of that information. Half of it I'm probably never going to need to talk about again.
No.
So I'm thinking that it's helping me with confidence, but in actuality, the only way that you're going to build that is to just do it. That should be the name of the episode today, is just do it, man, because
do it.
That's all that we can do. And instead of trying to do all the analysis, how about you try to do all the action and get the rewards from that? Like you can ask these questions to clients. You're going to have different situations where, like I tell all my new people, get to 100 sits. Once you've sat with 100 appointments, you will have seen and learned everything you need to learn to know exactly how to have success in this business. It's a race to 100 sits.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? Although we learn and we say you're never going to learn everything because insurance could be so convoluted, so complicated, so much to it. It's so easy, right? It's at the same time like we overcomplicate it because the reality of it is, doesn't matter what we're talking about. We're talking about you die, you get paid. Like that's the bottom line, right? Is it going to be over the next 15 years that if you die, you get paid? Or is it going to be a permanent policy? Is it going to be that maybe if you have cancer, stroke, or heart attack, you can also get paid? Or is it going to be just an accidental only policy? Like there's variables to everything, but it's so simple of just putting in perspective like, hey, listen, at the end of the day, everyone's going to die. How is your family going to be when you pass away protected with this home?
Yeah, I was talking about this on the training call last week where it's so easy to get overwhelmed with all the information that we're trying to take in and learning a new industry. Whether if this is a new industry for you or not, there's just a lot. And in my opinion, we can really simplify it. Know your appointment setting script, know your appointment running script, your presentation, know how to navigate the toolkit, and know how to get through any app. You can do those 4 things, you can sell insurance. It's literally can be that simple. Appointment setting script, appointment running script, toolkit, and e-app. You can do those 4 things, you're ready.
100%, right? And for any new agents for the e-app, so how do I get to do that? Many companies have a sandbox, which is meaning think of a toddler. You put a toddler in a sandbox to go play, right? Go play, go mess around. That's exactly what this is called. Is your sandbox. It's for you to go and play around, write a policy yourself, write a policy and whoever it is. You know what? I had a question about an underwriting criteria that Toolkit wouldn't be able to answer for me. So I went into a company's sandbox yesterday and I ran the appointment as if this guy to see if he would get approved. The answer was no, but I was able to find out that's a product that I don't want to go for him because the sandbox was available. And here I am 6 years in, still using it. Cool.
And I think another great way to learn the e-app sandbox is the best possible way. But I think another great way is to write a policy on yourself. Your family obviously is going to need the protection and you get paid as earned. So it zeroes out. So it's going to be basically a free life insurance policy. And now you can see what the e-app looks like, what the text signature, the HIPAA release, like what the process looks like from both the client side and the agent side. And then now you know how to get through it. You know what to expect. So now when I call my next client, I can say to them, hey, here's what's going to happen next. And I know because I've went through it. So it's a great way to learn and figure out how to navigate that piece of it, which is the e-app side, and also help yourself sound more like an expert when you're calling your next client.
Love that. Yeah, and eventually it just becomes repetitive. Like they're all going to be the same. They're going to vary by a little bit. They'll do a little bit difference here, but you go through it once and you'll know it. It's not hard, you know. We're technological savvy by now, especially if you're doing this. You should be able to just get through it and not have a problem doing it. So getting through an e-application, all you need to do is make sure you have the link saved. Yeah, Toolkit's going to have it for you where you can click and it'll take you to it. But either way, start a little folder for yourself. Know that if you click here, if you have that company coming up, all you gotta do is click, and it's gonna open up and it's gonna be ready for you to go. When do you log on to the carrier that you're gonna be like? If you already know what you're presenting, how at what point do you log in to make sure that's already done with?
So my login stuff is all saved. It's all bookmarked. It's literally click and I'm in. But I'll do that. So once I get the numbers, so like I know what I'm going to present to them, then I'm logging in. And as I'm logging in will be when I'm presenting the numbers. So that way, when they say, oh, I want to go with the full mortgage protection, I'm like, great. So am I correct? We want all the policy documents coming to 123 Main Street. Yep. And I'm in. That's it. We're starting. All right. So, and look, I know I already asked you a bunch of health questions, but I'm legally required to ask you these additional questions. They're simple yes or no. So just bear with me because they're not the most fun questions in the world. And you're in the app. The last thing I want to do is have to fill a bunch of dead space with fluff conversation while the app is opening and loading. And it's like, it's detrimental to success. So I want to have that ready to go. And so I'm logged in and I'm ready. And if it's moving slow, I can confirm other information. I can confirm the spelling of their name, the spelling of their street name, their address, if they use nicotine, like whatever. I got a million things I can confirm to make sure that I'm continuing to control the conversation while I'm getting into the app. But you should pretty much be in there when they pick a plan, like you should be ready to roll. What about you? I mean, is that the same for you?
Well, I guess I asked for myself because I always forget to, and then I'm just like, oh, yeah, let me get on here while I'm bringing it up and see which company it's going to be. But, you know, and then the logins, so a lot of the times, those times send you a text message, and you got to confirm it. So you just got to make sure that you do that early on. So I am going to start implementing it. Once I know what product I'm pitching, I'm just going to be logged on and ready to fire to be able to go right into the application. Because honestly, that assumption there, so being assumptive, that's going to be at least 25% of your sales right there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is also efficiency, right? Is like if the people can get off the phone when we finish getting this policy in place and they get off the phone like, oh, that was easier than I expected. Like that's what I'm going for. I want people to feel that way. I don't want to have to look, there's the occasional person, whether it's tech problems or, questions or whatever it is, that an appointment can go, 45, 60, 90 minutes. Like it's possible. But I try to make sure that my piece of what I'm controlling is operating efficiently. I don't want to be the one to slow it up. I'll give you all the time in the world. So if we run a 90-minute appointment, it's because you need that, not because I need it. I can do this in 25 minutes.
I'm laughing because Mike makes fun of me that my average time is 45 minutes for appointments.
It happens sometimes. It's all right. If they need it, they need it. Especially there's some people who really struggle with technology, especially while they're on a phone call and trying to take in this information. And now they got to figure out how to navigate to the text or their email to get other information. Certain people just struggle with it. It is what it is.
I either need a faster computer because I already pay for the extra internet provider to give me the fastest. So maybe it's just I need an upgrade on RAM or whatever because I don't know what I'm talking about to make this thing go faster. I'm gonna get some gaming PC to just be able to do this.
High tech stuff over there, man.
Yeah,
but you don't. You really don't. You don't. I mean, you want to make it as efficient as you can. Is really all it comes down to.
That's my only struggle. I feel like when it's just in the loading, and I'm just like, yeah, sorry, it's spinning here. Give me a second. It'll be any moment now.
When I'm in that situation, instead of me trying to fill it with fluff or like artificial relationship building, I'll say to them, look, Jimmy, just a second. I just got to do a brief bit of data entry and I'm not that good at multitasking and I want to screw this part up. So just bear with me through the awkward silence real quick. And I'm not doing any data entry. I'm just letting it load up and I don't want to have to, make some fake conversation where if I'm conveying to them that I'm doing data entry and I need to concentrate, then it buys me that extra 5, 10, 15 seconds of dead air that I'm probably going to need for that to load.
I like it. I like building rapport a little bit, and that's probably why they go a little bit longer in my appointments. Right? Yeah. Like he's just loading over here, but like, so yeah, what's that like at your work when you do this certain thing? I genuinely care, so then I listen, and next thing you know, be like, oh, actually, stop telling me because it's up.
I'm actually done now. I don't care anymore.
Now that it's here, let's move on.
Right.
But it's a fine balance, and I love honestly talking to people and then getting to like and understand how we do things. But that's it, guys. Like honestly, get right back on it. Right, put that constant action, that massive correction, or the massive action, constant correction as you're doing it. Give yourself some time to unwind from your trip. Right, give yourself your vacation from your vacation to just relax, get yourself gathered together, set yourself up, get your leads, get your efficiency in place so that you can get running whenever you're getting to go, and just get ready to win and have that mindset in place. Right? That's kind of what we got. Oh, and then I guess we forgot about the that paralysis by analysis here.
Right.
What else would you say to that individuals?
Honestly, the biggest thing about that is you're never going to know it all. And I think a lot of times people are just doing the extra analysis because they're scared or hesitant or reluctant to get on the phone and just start doing it. Just pick up and start dialing, man. That's it's in Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know if you remember this, but in Wolf of Wall Street, he's like, you can't pay your bills, pick up and start dialing. Your wife hates you, pick up and start dialing. I want to make you rich to solve your problems, right? And we have the ability to do that. That literally picking up the phone and dialing is not only going to solve our problems, but it's going to help solve problems for all of our clients as well when the time comes.
Yeah.
So just do it, man. Just do it. There's no reason to feel like you need to know everything when the only way to know everything, or as much as you can, is to pick up and dial. It's the best way to learn.
It's crazy how influential that movie truly is, right?
So,
yeah,
such a good movie.
Not talking about the Quaaludes here, guys. We're talking about that part of things. But there's a part of it where he goes into the streamline approach of selling, right? The Wolf of Wall Street, and that's what he talks about. And he talks about anytime you're being taken off that line, you bring it right back down, right? So if the customer is taking you off for whatever reason, you address, acknowledge, and you respond, and you bring them right back. So you address it, you acknowledge, you address it, and you bring them right back to your world of where you're going to be going with it. Answer any questions. Did I answer your question? Yeah, let's move on. Let's carry on. Let's go ahead into the next part. But yeah, be fully in control. We appreciate every single one of you guys for always joining us. My boy Michael Waranch right there. I know I got this down. Like,
I think that looks right from my end.
Yeah. Also, if it looks right from my end, now you do it. It should look at right.
It would be
nope,
for me. It would be here. For here.
Then if it's if I'm going like this and that's right for you, then
on my screen, that's where you are.
Okay, so on my screen now you're pointing at me.
So this one is at you.
That's me. Yep. If I go like this, nope, then I gotta go like that. Now we're high-fiving. But on my screen, it looks off.
So
wouldn't I be editing that part out?
This is what you guys signed up for. We're leaving it.
All right, yo, we're gonna get better at being more consistent and getting these episodes to you guys on a weekly basis. We're back from vacation. We're gonna go out and kill it. Mikey, always a pleasure, my brother.
Oh man, thank you so much. This was awesome as always, Luis. You are the man.
Tell them to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and comment. You tell them.
Like, subscribe, and comment. We got to keep dropping this stuff for you guys.
They like it better when you tell them. All right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We're out, guys. Thank you all for being here. Peace out.
Thanks, guys.